Okay, so I think people a lot of times have a hard time differentiating between healthy roots and rotting roots. This guy was in a quote unquote self-watering planter. I kind of hate them. They don't drain. I dumped the water out of the bottom of it so it wasn't so wet, but apparently it still was because some of these roots are not happy. Okay, you see these bright white, this is really hard to do with like holding my phone and the plant. Okay, this bright white root right here, if I can get it to focus, it's nice and juicy and plump. There's another one right here, right there. Those are good roots. Bad roots are these little thin ones that look like hairs. That's a rotten root. Those are rotting roots. I feel like you can't see them, it's not focusing. So whenever you see bad roots, you just start plucking them off. They're going to fall off really easy. And sometimes you pull them out and they look fine. Like they don't look like those fine little hairs, but they're not a bright white most of the time. They're like a light brown. These are like a light brown versus the bright white ones that look really thick and juicy and healthy. So when you pull on them, like the outside of the root will slide off. That's a rotting root. It's a bad root when it does that. I wish this wasn't so hard to see. Okay, it was focusing a little better because there are a lot of good roots here still, and there's a lot of bad roots. So this is a really good example, so you can see the good and the bad. Because a lot of times when people are pulling out so this plant really didn't look bad. The only reason I was checking it is because I noticed that the soil was still so wet, and it's been a while since I've watered it, so I pulled it out. So the plant wasn't suffering yet. A lot of times when people are pulling their plant out to check the roots, it's like the roots are gone. And they're like, well, I can't tell if they're good or bad because what they're looking at is all bad, and they don't know the difference between the two. But once you've seen it a few times, you'll learn pretty quickly what bad roots are. This is a good one to example. So you can see it's super floppy, but if I pull, you see how it's like there's a little inside hair and it's like the outside of it's like sliding off. That's a bad root, fellas. Oops, I just accidentally pulled off a really good one. But I'll probably go take this plant, rinse it off a little bit. Something else you can do, I mean, this plant really still has a lot of good roots. I'll probably just put it back in some dry soil. But something else you can do if a lot of your roots are really bad is dip the whole, first of all, like try to rinse the dirt off. Dip the whole plant, all the roots, in peroxide that will kill any bacteria that might be causing the roots to decompose. So, yeah, there we go. This is a plumeria, by the way. It was in pretty rough shape when I got it already. Oh, just can't get a break. I mean, it does have some, like the new growth, like the new leaves that push on it are nice and shiny. But it had a lot of spider mites on it when I very first got it. I got it in the mail. It was only like $15. The person that sold it had no idea what spider mites were. I told her, I kept it. I mean, it'll live. But now it's got some roots that are struggling. It'll be beautiful once I can get it healthy. Everything healthy. Roots, no bugs, etc. Well, thanks, guys.